Hello all. Okay, welcome to an episode of my in-car series season 3, episode 19. And this is going to be like a sort of Halloween one as well, because it's on the run up to Halloween, so I don't have any time to do anything between now and Halloween because I'm going to be working an 8-day stretch. So I'm just going to do this one and just call it a Halloween one, and they've got the wee caption there on the bottom screen. Maybe look at some of the colours on the trees, the leaves and that, give you that Halloween autumn feel. And that's the best I could do, I'm afraid, because I'm going to be bogged down with work for the next 8 solid days. So, but I've got other things to do later on. Once I've done that, I've got finally get that weekend off after it to do things I want to get done. One of which will be watching the stock car banger racing van bangers at the Lochgelly Raceway, and I'll be doing a video for that, like I always do. Try and record as many banger race events as I can. So talking of banger race events, excuse me a minute. Yeah, so talking of banger racing events, this video is sort of going to be a bit of a wee bit of a Dundee history kind of thing, because I heard that there was a field at the back of Whitfield housing scheme in Dundee, at the north, behind it basically, and that field was used for banger racing. And I've put posts up on Dundee historical websites on Facebook, and some of the replies and comments I got back were interesting regarding it. This is like something that took place in the 70s and 80s. I was around then, but I didn't remember, I wasn't aware of such thing until actually 2007. I was working in a factory and one of the guys I was speaking to mentioned it, but he only had a very sort of faint memory of it. But it wasn't until just very recently there that I decided I'm going to actually put a post up on the Dundee Facebook website for History for Dundee, and I'm going to put in some questions, and I got some replies, and did a research into it basically. But I'm going to show you where that field was, apparently, going by the research results that I've got, that I've based off of the replies that I got from the initial post that I put up asking about it. So there's that, and there's also a factory that's closed down on Faraday Street in Dundee. I'm going to highlight that and just show you it anyway. So this video is going to be a bit about Dundee's, the history side of it with regarding the banger race, and a bit of the current state of this factory that's shut down. I just noticed it recently. It's been shut down a while, but I came across it fairly recently, and I thought I'd maybe just highlight it on the video. So it's a usual in-car series format, as you know. If you've seen my in-car series, it's in-car, and it's easy for me. These series that I make, in-car series videos like this, are easy for me to make. That's why I do them, and I can also show you the outside footage in that corner there of some of the. So it's like you, the viewers, are sitting right there, and I'm telling you what I'm doing with my channel and what I'm showing you, and at the same time it's easy for me to do that, and I could get around about in the car as well. I've done a few things earlier, and now I've got a spare moment to myself to do this, so that's the advantage of these in-car series. So if you've seen the series before, you'll know the format. If you haven't saw my in-car series before, then that's basically what it is. It's just in-car. You'll see a bit of the driving footage, so you're getting like a huddle in the car, so to speak, and I'll show you the places that I want to show you, and I'll tell you about what I'm doing with my channel. It's just like a channel update, if you like, and as I say, it's dead easy for me to edit them. So there's nothing really difficult about the in-car series, so that's why I like doing them. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to show you where the factory is up in Faraday Street that's closed down. Before I do, I'll just close this file down, and then I'll restart that file again because I'm going to be on the move now, and that then lets me edit So I'm just getting the cool air on, because if I leave the windows open you won't hear much. So I can do that. Nice cool stream of air. So because I've got the windows closed in the car, so you can hear what I'm saying, I've got to have the blower on. I mean, this is like October, and it's still quite warm. Excuse me a minute. I'm just going to pause this a moment. Hang on. I won't bother, that's okay. I was going to adjust it, but I'll be fine. I think you can see okay with that. I think you can see, there's nothing exciting at the moment. I'm just coming out of Tesco's car park. So nothing at all exciting about this bit, but I'm not going to pause it, because, as I say, this is an easy video for me to edit, and I let the camera roll and I just do the video as I go. There's no any rehearsal or anything like that. It's just, you know, you probably know my videos, I just wing them. I just wing it, I just do what I do, make it easier, because I've done a time to commit a lot of this. I'm going to be able to work an 8-day stretch, because I had to swap a day. And it's 4-day week G, so it's like an 80-hour week if you like. Yeah, it's a long stretch, so I'm not going to have time to do anything. So I'm going to make this double up as a kind of Halloweeny kind of thing, you know, autumn type video as well. So if you look at the trees and stuff and the leaves on the ground, you'll get that kind of Halloween autumn feeling. You'll maybe see that on the forward view of the camera, and I'll just say that's part of the Halloween effect, I suppose. I did do something last year, but I was different. But this year, I'm afraid I just don't have the time, so I'm just going to dub this Halloween as well. So I'm going to cure about half a dozen birds with one cure. Just do it all in this video and put it up nearer Halloween. So you might see that fancy bridge just going over the railway there. I'm quite impressed with that. I hope you saw that. Now we get to this factory. Just going to go away from the centre of Dundee to try and avoid the traffic, because there's a lot of road closures and it's not quite peak time yet, but trying to avoid doing it at peak time. So I'm just heading along the Riverside Drive, and then I'll maybe go up, yeah, I'm just going to up Clamps. In fact, no, what I'll do is I'm going to go up by the back of Camber Down and that, because you get maybe even Templeton Woods as well, because you get a wee bit of the colours on the trees that are quite colourful, you know, for autumn, and I could give you the autumn feel, I suppose. The last video that I just done there was the hill walk, the Caledonian Hill Walking Club. We went from Lennoxtown to Dundee via Strathblane. So that video will be getting put up quite soon. And it's quite, well, the weather wasn't great. Well, the weather was just rubbish. But the hike was not the best hike, it's pretty boring, but it's still an outing nonetheless. And the footage I got was quite I was showing you what the area was like, so that's important. But I always turn up to the events regardless of the weather. So you got the sort of autumn colours on the trees here as we're going along the Riverside Drive. Towards, and that's going to end up at the field, the back of Whitfield. It's where the golf course is, Blumby Golf Course. So from the research that I've done, that seems to be where it happened. But the guy I was working with, he was telling me what he remembers of it. This was years ago when I first discovered about it. But I wasn't on Facebook or anything like that back then. It's only 2020. That's when I started doing YouTube and Facebook, so it's relatively recently, you know. But, so since 2007, I didn't really hear much more of it. It was kind of like, you know, I kind of forgot about it. I wasn't thinking about it until just very recently. There, cousin on the Facebook, and I've got the the groups, the website, historical Dundee, Dundee history and all that. I could type the stuff in, questions on there, and I get some good replies back. Interesting replies from people that remember it. I'm actually going to do a shortcut. I'm not going to go along the Kingsway after all. I'm just going to cut across this way because I just realised that the traffic lights at the end of the Riverside Drive, and then you've got traffic lights at Myerkirk, which I didn't particularly want to be waiting in, so I'm going this way and avoid. So I'm going past, I will be passing the Botanical Gardens on the right very shortly. But this is just cutting across over towards the direction of where the factory is. The Botanical Gardens are on the right hand side, just past the entrance now. There's only so much, you'll see it maybe in this window actually, in the end car view. But I've not been in there for years. So this factory, I'm going to show you. It's in a bit of a state. I came across it just recently. I just stumbled across it. I knew about the factory. I'd obviously seen it for very long time, but I didn't realise it was shut until very recently. It wasn't until I actually drove past and saw the state it was in. I was like, blooming heck! I didn't know that was closed. So I thought I'm going to highlight it on here anyway, just show you one of the current affairs in Dundee. See if anybody will remember the factory or has any memories of it that might not be aware of it. I'm going to show you anyway. So you've got a lot of these orange leaves on the side of the road. There's a wee bit of your Halloween kind of autumn-like feel, and the bushes in the houses and the back gardens, they're all kind of like seasonal coloured. Just gives you a kind of Halloweeny kind of autumn-like feel. Because as I say, I never had time to do anything on the run up to Halloween. I'm going to be working 8 days solid, so this is the best you can do for these at the moment. I'll just merge it all into one video. I'll show you a bit of Halloween colours on the autumn colours on the trees, which gives you that Halloween feel, I suppose. I might go down by, no, I might not. I might just show you this factory and just don't make the video too long. I was actually going to go into Balgate and show you that. Maybe might actually do that because the colours of the trees here are quite impressive. So I'll tell you what I'll do. En route to this factory, I'm going to go in VA. Somebody got a Halloween thing in the garden there. It's all done up. The houses are all done up. You might have saw that. But yeah, en route to the factory, I'm going to go to the Balgate Hill. Because the trees there are all colourful, autumn colour, the leaves and that. So I'll go and do that. I'll go and steer past there for you, and I'll even show you the haunted bridge as well that I've done videos on. It's the bridge that goes over from Balgate Hill to Balgate Cemetery. It's the White Lady. It's the Dundonians, the history, the old folklore stories, I suppose. It's like the White Lady that haunts that bridge. I remember hearing this in the 80s when I was young, and I was fascinated in the story. I heard the bridge was haunted by the White Lady. And just recently, when I started doing YouTube, it's about 5 years ago actually, I done a video of me going over that bridge alone, on my own, at night, after midnight. And I've got the videos early on, very early on my channel, because it wasn't long after it started. It'd be 2021-ish, late part of 2020, early 21 thereabouts. So this is the entrance to, this is one of the entrances to Balgate. It's on the way to the cemetery. So if I go right up here, you'll maybe just capture the blue bridge. I'm going to actually drive up this way, as far as the barrier at least. Because the other barriers are shut. That would be their way up to the Mills Observatory. It should be open, I think, this season. But there, if you might just see the blue bridge right up ahead, right dead ahead, 12 o'clock. And you've got the nice autumn colours. In fact, I'll go right up to it, to as far as I could go, obviously. And you'll see the blue bridge That's the old haunted stories. And I walked across that at night on my own, after midnight, a bit dark. I had my infrared camera. Done it a few times, went right up to the Mills Observatory. I parked there and walked up and right across. It was scary. So if you look back about 4 or 5 years on the channel, you'll see the videos. It's titled as such. I could call it Ghost Hunt or something. So there's a bit of Halloween colours for you, a bit of autumn colours. I'm sorry I can't do anything. I can't really do much more for you on the run up to Halloween because, as I say, I've got an 8-day stretch to work. So I'm going to have no choice what to do. If I want to get that day off, I'm going to have to do it. So, and there's nice leaf colours there as well. It's quite nice. I'll go up to the other barrier and see if I can pan the camera up that way. In fact, I won't bother because I don't want to be highlighting anybody. In fact, he's opening the gate. No, I wonder if I could get up there. I'll just pull it out a little side just now. I know where to be filming. In fact, he is opening the gate. Yeah, well, we could get up to Mills Observatory then. Well, hey, I'll show you that then. Yeah, I'm going to go up there. It's not open yet, but I'm going to go up there in the car. I think I'll just double check with the guy that it's alright to go up. Alright, is it alright to go up? I'm just going up to the Mills Observatory. I know just going to be just get some footage of going up past.
That's where I'm going.
Oh, you're heading up there.
Give me a lift in.
You want a lift up?
Right,
oh, well,
right. So it doesn't open till 4 o'clock.
And that's you doing a YouTube video, eh?
Right.
A live one.
Oh, you can't get in. Sorry. Right.
I'll pause it. Right, okay, I'll give you a lift
sorry
up.
For this.
No bother. Right, I'm going to give the guy a lift up, but the problem is I'll have to show you the footage. Do you mind being on YouTube? Do you want to see a bit on it? No. I've got an unexpected, unplanned guest. He actually works up. What I'm going to have to do is move. Right. This is the screen that I'm going to go on because I'm going to show my viewers the autumn colours. So you'll still see because I'll enlarge that bit there. But yeah, you've worked in the Mills Observatory quite well.
I've worked here since 2002. I'm an astronomer. I've been using the Mills Observatory on and off for 50 years. The first time I visited it was in 1975 when I was 15. So I was 15 years old then.
Gosh.
So I'm now 65.
Yeah, you've been there all that time. I remember going up there in the 80s, like, I was always fascinated in that place. And the old telescope, when was that telescope built? It was
1871. That telescope is a lot older than the observatory.
Oh, yeah. So it's got the paper mache dome. You know, I feel like actually showing my viewers a bit about it now. If I actually come this far, I'll actually take the camera and I'll show them Mills Observatory when I get up there. But I was showing them the autumn colours because it's quite pretty. It's quite an autumn feel, like, you know. But the observatory, is it going to be a clear night tonight? Or?
It doesn't look like it. You know.
No, it's not bright enough.
Well, sometimes if it's cloudy during the day, it does clear up at night time. Yeah. So there might be a chance, but at the moment it's not looking promising.
No. You've actually just probably made me a video, you know, as a special. It's the first time I've had a guest on my in-car series. I've done 3 seasons and this is episode 19, I think it was. So it's just a bit of chance, because it was coming up here just on spec. But what I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed it, you probably will have, that in the south horizon there's a bright light over that way. It's quite low down.
Right, what time are you seeing it?
Various, usually in the evening when it's, it could be like various times from tea time right till after midnight even.
Well, it'll be Saturn, the planet Saturn is in the southeast at the moment.
And
you can't go
But there's other ones that move as well though. Sometimes they move slowly.
Well, that'll be satellites. There's loads of, you'll see loads of Elon Musk's Starlink satellites if you go out, you know. So tonight's the 21st. So there's the Orion meteor shower shooting stars tonight.
Is it?
And if you go out at the best time, it'll be about midnight, and you're looking the southeast. They're coming from Orion, and there's about 25 or more per hour, and these meteors are parts of Halley's Comet, which was last year in 1985-86.
Was that the last time?
And it won't be back again until 2061. So, but you get a chance to see bits of Halley's Comet twice a year. The meteor shower this month for Ryanads, and then there's another one in May.
There's a lot of these aurora borealis, northern lights.
Northern lights, yeah. That's because the sun's just passing maximum at the moment, and there's lots of sunspot activity and geomagnetic storms.
Geomagnetic. I remember the film, Local Hero.
That's right, aye, that was a brilliant movie, I remember that one, aye.
Filmed up at...
well, I've been to that place. I can't remember where it's got. I know where it is. Beautiful. You got up there. It is really nice. I've been there.
Yeah. I think
it's a wee fishing village. Port something.
There's a phone box here. It's a famous phone box.
It's still. It was a while ago I was there. But it's
still been there since.
So this is you at the observatory now.
The observatory dead ahead. So what's it get on?
It's actually 90 years old. Its birthday is next Tuesday, I think. So thanks for giving an old guy a lift up the hill.
So there you go. I didn't plan on that, but there's Mill's Observatory, and I hope he's got some good footage of the colourful trees as I came up the driveway there, of the autumn colours. So it's just opening up for the day. The seasons start obviously when the nights are dark, so you get the clear night sky. In the summer I think it's open for like just a visitor thing. But that there is the paper mache dome where the historical telescope is in, and that dome winds back, rotates, so you could, view different parts of the sky, the night sky, and the colourful flashing spectacular stars, if you're looking at those flickering stars. So, as I say, I had no plan on that at all. It was just by sheer chance that happened. So there we go, there's a wee bit of bonus stuff that I had absolutely no plan on whatsoever. So, and the guy was okay about it, but going in the video, he's been there for ages. I remember him before in there, and so I've done a video, gave the guy a lift up to his work, and got a wee bit of info about it as well. Now I'm just trying to remember what way, because I've cycle up here as well, and I walk up here as well. I don't always, not often, occasionally I take the car up. I'm trying to remember, I used to be able to get right down on the left, but I think I just go down this way. I'll lift that window because so that was good. It's quite good that I got that. So I'm gonna, from here I'm gonna go to the factory that I was on a bit earlier, and I'll show you that, and I'll keep the camera rolling, and you can see a little bit of Dundee as I made my way to the factory. So I've got to turn right here. That's the way I would go down if I had my bike, or if I was walking I'd go down that way, but with the car obviously. I'm sure you used to be able to get that way with the car before, years ago, but I can't remember what happened. So there's other ways, but it was not too fast in here, because the thing about this road as well, with these nice colourful leaves and wet, they are very slippy, and there's a sheer drop down there, sheer drop, so you've just got to treat it like ice. These leaves are wet and slippery, and you've got to be extra careful when you're driving down this driveway on a steep grade with a sheer drop on your right. So it is effectively just like ice, so you've got to be pretty careful. So I could have got down that way as well. And as you probably know, there's pedestrians that also use this at the same time as vehicle traffic, so just got to keep the speed right down, and you just could enjoy these colours, because they are quite nice actually. It's quite October Halloween like feel about it to this video, so that's what I was intending on doing. Like I say, I would have done a little bit more if I had time nearer Halloween. Like last year I was able to do something on Halloween because I was able to at the time, but unfortunately this time I've got a few shift swaps and I've got an 8-day stretch to work, which means I've not got any time to... I don't have time to do anything today except what I'm doing, which is why I'm doing this video for Halloween. I put my lights on because it's a little bit shaded. Although it's lighty out there, when you get into these shaded areas, maybe a good idea to turn your headlights on just to make my presence more known. It's quite shadowy here. That does look quite spectacular, although the trees are just sort of, you know, the branches and the couple of the leaves coming off there, just giving a little bit of a Halloween autumn-like feel. It's quite pretty seasonal feel, you know, kind of seasonal feel about it. So on the right it's Lockheed Park. You might not really see that too well with the camera, but that's what it is. It's just on the right, Lockheed Park. So that was quite a good wee. I didn't think I'd be doing that on this video today, but just a wee sort of auxiliary spin-off part to it. And that's the thing with the in-car series, anything could go on them. There's no set thing about the in-car series. It's easy to make, so anything goes kind of within reason. Now I'm just making my way out. Hope you like the that's the thing. You see, if you're watching this video, you could just sit in the comfort of your seat or wherever you are, comfortable, and just, you don't need to actually get out and walk around it. So it's nice to do that, but you're getting to see this on your screen. I hope the video supplies you. I hope you enjoy that bit, because I quite like it. I think it's quite spectacular. So now I've got to think how to get to the factory at Faraday Street. Probably, I think I'd be quicker going down Elmwood Road. So I think I'll do that now. If the cloud wasn't so bad, you would have saw Craiggill Hill, part of the Sidlaw Hills, right on the horizon up ahead, but unfortunately the cloud's low and you're not getting to see it. You're not going to see it now anyway. It's a pity, because I'll be there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn right here instead. I'm going to go along. See, that's not committed now. Maybe I should have went left in the element, but I think I might actually just go along Lockheed Road. It's just the traffic lights. To be honest, and fair up going down Elmwood Road, that's just like another day in the office going down there. In fact, so is this road. But anyway, you've got Lockheed Park on the right. Just going along Anglin Road. Anglin Road it is. You'll see the law hill, Dundee's. I actually said that wrong. It's called Dundee Law, because law means hill in the old language, the old Dundee language. In ancient times it was called law, meant hill, so it's really just called Dundee Law. But if you say the law hill, you're actually saying the hill. I remember hearing that from the tour bus back in 1995, when I first came across that. So Dundee Law up ahead. So this is the problem now, it's beginning to come into the peak time. I didn't have time earlier to do this video, and unfortunately this is the only time I've got, which means peak time's beginning to start up, like, because the schools come out about this time. And they will be all shortly. I was kind of hoping to miss that, but I suppose in a way I'm glad that I went to Balgay there, and they gave the guy a lift up, which is helpful, and gave us a wee bit of info on the observatory. No, think I want to go up Lochie bypass and up by the Timex Bray. That would be the quickest way, I think. To be honest, the traffic isn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be there. I thought because it would be pretty, congested back there. But it wasn't too bad, so it was actually okay. It was kind of getting a bit dreaded there with it. I was just coming through Lochie, on the Lochie bypass. Lochie is actually named after a loch. The loch was called E, so they just called it Lochie. They just joined the words together. It's known as Lochie now. And that's where we're at. We're just going through Lochie. Lochie High Street and the shops now are on the right, but this area is considered Lochie. And just going to the Cooper Angus Road. So I say, I've driven this road so many times, but for anybody who's watching it, could be anywhere, people that are watching this might not even be living in Scotland anymore, and they might want to see what their old town was like. So I don't know how long I've been recording for, but if you know my channel, you know my videos are feature length, which means they are quite long. I try and keep them capped about no more than about an hour, but sometimes it can go over that. So I just got along the Cooper Angus Road. We had the Park Hotel on the left, just further up a bit. This is no longer there now, and the built houses on them. This is a shame, because I remember years ago we had our Christmas dinners in there. The bus club, vintage bus club down in. So that the building on these houses there on the left, that's where the Park Hotel was. They just built houses on it. So this is now coming into Drybury area of Dundee. So we're not far from this factory and on a bit. Just wait there. Sometimes get wary when people are edging up like that. So, as I say, I just came across this factory fairly recently. I was driving through that area and I saw, geez, what a mess this factory's in. Didn't realise it was in that state. Kind of surprised by that. So I took a few pictures and that. It was quite late though, and a few videos just for my own stuff. But I'm going to come back here now when it's light, because this was like late. This was after midnight. I'd finished my shift and I was going by that way. I was heading up that way, and I saw the factory. I was like, bloody hell! I was surprised. So I'm just going to turn on the Timex Bray. So the Timex was on the left there. This is just nicknamed the Timex Bray. This is actually Faraday Street. So Timex was on the left, Harrison Road. That's used to train up in the Tayside training service there, 1992 and 1993. It's no longer that now. It's McGill's Electrical, I think. But I remember the Timex strike back in 1992 and 93, because we were across the road from Timex, the Tayside training services that I was with. I remember all the strike activity. It was a big strike. So that's Dundee Timex strike back in 1992 and 1993. So this is the Faraday Street, and I know somebody that works in there, so if she's watching this, she'll know exactly what this area is. So you'll be familiar with that if you're watching. You'll know what I'm talking about if you have to be watching my video. The factory now we're in on a bit is just on the right here. Sorry, on the left there, beg your pardon. Just on the left. So I'm gonna actually just temporarily stop in here just for a few minutes, just for a couple minutes. Oh God, maybe no. In fact, I won't. I'll come out here and turn, because I think that's yeah. Well, I'm just going to park over there instead, because I'm not even sure if that's. Probably would have been alright for the length of time, but I'm just not going to tempt fate. I'm just going to sit here for a I've got to remember the bricks because I'm going to be going over those. So remind me. Right, I'll get out and show you this briefly. So here it is here, it's just across from the Edmunds Electrical. And sure, this factory used to be the old plumb centre. So it's right on the end of Faraday Street. It's at the east end of Faraday Street at the junction with Telford Road. And it, as I said, just came across this one night, late at night. I was driving this way and I spotted it and I went, bloody heck, I saw this. And I was like surprised because I think the last time I'd been here it certainly didn't look like that anyway. So I'm going to get this for you and show you it anyway. And you've got car 1 over there, that's emptied. I'm not sure what the plans are for that. But and now the other building across the road for it, that looks as though it's probably closed as well, but the gap is open, that's right next to the building. It's part of the same complex, so that at least you can that's still open, but the factory here it's been heavily vandalised by the seams of it as well. So now I look back on Google Maps time history and it looks as though it's been shut down for maybe a few years. I think it was called the Plum Centre, I can't remember, I didn't pay a great deal of attention to it, but I think it was the Plum Centre. But I certainly wasn't aware it was like this until very recently, because all the windows up there have been put in, it's all boarded up and it's obviously somebody's been in. In fact, that wasn't like that the last time I was here. But anyway, so I didn't want to go up there because that's sort of like, I'm just kind of staying, I'll just show you this, I'm not going to wander up there because that's another business, I'm not going to go in there, but I'm just showing you from here anyway. That's about all I could show you at the moment, but you could see that now. And as I say, the one across the road, I'm not even sure, to me that looks as though it's shut down completely, because it was like that as well when I come across it, but there's this pub, so I don't know, don't quote me, I don't know if it's actually closed down or not, but that's the current status of it on the October 2025. That's what it looks like here anyway, at the end of the east end of Faraday Street. And I do not want to be driving over this, so I better remind myself to reverse out, because that is in a blind spot in the driver's seat and I don't want to be driving over that. Okay, so I'm going to now make my way towards Whitfield. So that's the current state of that building anyway, and I'm sure it was, if I remember right, I think it was called the Plum Centre. It's probably been doing other things as well at its time, but Plum Centre rings a bell. As the name implies, it'll be something to do with plumbers, bathroom fixtures and stuff like that, kitchen sink fixtures and all that kind of stuff. Quite sure it was that building. So, okay, so I'm going to make my way over towards the back of Whitfield where the banger racing took place, from what I could figure anyway. Okay, so I'm going to make my way up towards that area of Whitfield where the stock car banger racing, well, the banger racing took place apparently in the 70s and in the 80s as well. Now, remind me, I'm not going to go over these rocks that are down there because sitting here I can't see them. And if you get in here and jump in there and turn left, you wouldn't see it, you'd go over it and burst the tyre or damage the underside of the car. And I sure as hell don't want to be doing that. So, make sure I reverse away from those and let's get out of here and head towards Whitfield. And I'll go the back roads, I think. Try and avoid the Kingsway because the Kingsway this time is just going to be a nightmare for traffic. So I'm going to not go that way, I'm going to go by Hairstone Road I think, and then Harefield Road or whatever, I get them mixed up. I might go by Goulburn Road, Curtin, Cleverhouse. Yeah, the side, but I'm not going to go the Kingsway way the Kingsway route because traffic I think is going to be pretty bad. Heading on, we're just on to Stafford Place now, and we're going to be a turn left onto McAlpine Road, which is just at the sort of, that's the crematorium there, it's just on the edge of Adler housing scheme. I'm in two minds if I should take the Kingsway. I know it's a bit of a gamble. If I go there and there's traffic, I'm just going to get held up. If I turn left and go through the scheme, it's slower, but at least I'm not going to be stuck behind a queue of traffic. I think I'm committed to going left now anyway. I'm just going to go that way. Through Kirton, Clever House, along Fontainebleau, up Pitcairn Road, and then I know how to get to it. In fact, what I might even do as well on this video is I could maybe zoom in and show you what the Braveview Academy High School looks like. It's shut down now. Closed down just in autumn. It's the former Whitfield High School. It's called Braveview Academy in the 90s. It used to be called Whitfield High School. It's the original build. It closed down this summer past, and the new school is built, Drumgeeth campus. That's what's replaced Whitfield High School, and it's also replaced Craigie High School as well. Both these schools have shut down and they have merged into this new school called Drumgeeth Drumgeeth campus. This is on just off basically just across the road for the Drumgeeth football pitch. They've got the football fields. It's just across the road from there basically. There actually used to be a school there originally years ago when they built Whitfield. Like it was called St Matthew's or something. It was St Matthew's High School. Because I remember that school. I didn't go to it, but I remember it. But they demolished it round about they closed it down and demolished it round about the same time I started on the buses. In fact, when I was on the buses, I first started driving them in 2008. I remember picking up the school kids at the end or later part of that year. So shortly after that, I think it closed down. It was either the later part of 2008 or the earliest part of 2009. And then they knocked the St Matthew's High School down. And the grounds just lay empty for years and years and years. And only just in the last few years there, they decided to build a new school. It's called Drumgeeth campus, I think it's called. Some fancy name. It's just, they don't seem to call it like, Drumgeeth High School or some fancy. It's got to be campus now. Well, because there's two schools. Let's make it like a super school. Two schools merged into one new one. So I probably would have got held up anyway if I went to Kingsway, so it doesn't really matter. It's just boring, it makes the video boring. And I don't want to pause it because that puts another file on, which makes it just a wee bit harder because I've got to flip the image to get the forward view in the right orientation. So I'm just going to leave the camera on it. It's an easy edit video, I'm going to keep it that way. But what I better do, before I forget, is put that back on charger because that will just go off if I don't. So we're on route to the back of Whitfield, where the field was where the banger racing took place during the 1970s and 1980s. Now, from the research that I have managed to obtain, people that remember it, I remember the event was a kind of like a fun thing, a grassroots motorsport. It wasn't like an organised event as such, like the race wall at Kildenbeath or the Lochgelly Raceway or the main the national motorsport bodies, Oval and all that. It wasn't like that. It was more like a local thing, from what I gathered. And it was on a Sunday afternoon, because there wasn't any floodlights or anything like that, so it would be during the day. Sunday would be probably the better day. Sunday afternoon sounds about right. This junction, by the way, is a bit of a nightmare. It's not the easiest junction to get out. It's a crossroads and it's a pain in the... But this is what you get if you go this way. sacrifice one for the other. I missed the traffic on the Kingsway, but I get hit with a pain in the neck junction. There's been a lot of accidents with this junction, but anyway, yeah, the event was just kind of like a local fun day thing. The cars were purpose built with bangers that had roll cages in them, so there was an element of regulation involved as well. They checked the cars. I think this is all from research that I've done. The cars were classed in different engine sizes. It was 1300, 1600 and 2 litre. They had to make sure they had a roll cage, fire extinguisher. So that would mean also they would have to wear a helmet, I would presume, a crash helmet. So there was regulations, because it's common sense really. If you're doing that sort of thing, you do want to be remaining alive after it, because it is dangerous otherwise. So it was a sort of like word of mouth thing, so you only really got to know about it through word of mouth. It wasn't like today where you've got the internet and all the media and social media to get the word around. There wasn't like official programmes as well, you know, like leaflets you would hand out to get the word around that, but it wasn't like that. It was just locally word of mouth from what I could figure. And the cars were like Ford Escorts, Volvo 240, the old cars and that. And they would arrive on trailers, because you wouldn't be legally allowed to drive them on the road. You know, drive them to the field, and then smash them to bits, and then just leave them there. I think they took the cars there on a trailer, and then they would have took them away again on their trailer, and I'm going to guess they would have repaired them up to go out again, or they would have scrapped them. So, but the garages and that done it were involved. There was people from different motor garages around about locally, a squad of people in that. I think it was originally they had an old yard, a scrap yard in the sort of the Barry area between Dundee and Carnoustie. From what I gathered from the comments, that used to do that kind of thing there, and then moved it from there to the back of Whitfield, where I'm going to now. And then after it was moved from Whitfield, because the ground was earmarked for development, we moved the events to outside Forfar. So, but I'm just interested in the Whitfield aspect of it just now. So I'm going to go there, where I believe that this banger race events took place at. And while I'm doing that, en route, I can even show the camera and zoom into Whitfield High School or Braveview Academy now, and you'll see it's all boarded up because it's due for demolition. And I can show you that too on this video, which is just mainly about a bit of Dundee history and autumn colours and a wee bit of this and a wee bit of that. So I'm going to do that for you. It's good as well that I do this, because even I could look back on this from my own records at any time, anywhere. I could just go to YouTube, and if I want to show somebody something, then I could just go to my YouTube and just bring it up and show them. And I've done that before. That's the advantage of putting stuff like this on my channel. You could access it anywhere in reference to something like I've done a few times already. So you'll get some of the autumn colours as well as we go along Claverhouse Road. We've got a Care Park on the right. It's had a golf course. Golf course is now closed. So it's depressing. Nothing there. It's like Camperdown Half. You have got to be kidding. Listen, didn't have one. I thought it'd be smart to come along this way to avoid the traffic. But the Kingsway, and guess what? We got traffic jam here. So mind you, it's 25 to 4, is it? So anyway, Care Park's on the right, golf course is shut down altogether, it's just wasteland now. I don't know why they closed it down. I didn't even play golf and I still feel bad for them. Dundee's not got any like big golf courses. Well, they don't have the golf courses like they used to. They had the big ones at Care Park, they had the big one at Camperdown Park, both of which are closed down and the ground is just overgrown. So when you look at it looks depressing. And I didn't even play golf, so it must be hard on the golfers. Because my uncle used to go there, and I remember that when I used to stay in Fintry in the 80s. He used to go up there in his Mark 1 Escort and take his golf clubs up with him and play golf in Care Park. It's a wee bit of history. And my mates as well, I remember I took them there, loaded up there, this was years ago, like, I loaded the car up with their stuff, we went up there, I watched them play. I didn't play golf, I just watched them play golf. It was a caddy, I suppose. And they played golf up there, and also Camperdown as well, both of which are shut. Now, I don't know what they're playing at closing them down. What did they close the golf course down for? But anyway, sadly, depressingly, that's what's happened. The Care Park doesn't look as good as it could. I've seen it looking better. In fact, I'm just looking now over to the right and I can see a motorbike, the electric bike, scooting about on the pavement, and I wouldn't be surprised if I go across the old golf course. And, you know, that's what it's like now. It's just left to rack and ruin, and it's a shame because there's a lot of potential there. And I remember it being a nice place. I used to go there and do sports for the school, cross country, back in the late 80s. And I remember going up there and doing the sports, rugby and the other things as well, cross country, and it was a proper country park. It was in its prime. The castle was open. In fact, you know what I'm going to do, folks, viewers? I'm going to turn left here and go through Millermainch and miss all these lights. Save myself a minute or two. I can't be bothered with the lights. See, this is a wee shortcut here. So instead of doing that, cut through Millermainch, and then you'll maybe beat the traffic a bit. So this is Millermainch. There used to be a lot of buildings, tenements on the right, blocks of flats. They're all gone now, and as you can see, they're building new houses. Millermainch has changed quite a bit. There's only maybe like a handful of the original buildings and that, but a lot of them have been rebuilt. These are all new. There's some of the older ones further back, original ones further back there, but the high rises they're gone. I don't know if I've got footage or videos of them. If I do, I might make a video of it one day and show you what they look like as a kind of Dundee history sort of thing. But I did pay more particular attention to Whitfield. It was always fascinating, that scheme, and I've done videos on that already regarding the old scarring blocks and a bit of memories. I remember it because I lived it. Well, I lived at Cheviot actually since I was born. I was 5, so that was from 1975 to 1980, and I do remember Whitfield as far back as that, and I was fascinated in the buildings ever since. I was obviously very young, but I remember them. I remember the smell. I remember it's kind of like difficult to describe the inside of the corridors of Whitfield. It was like, I don't know, adhesive, like the acrylic windows, adhesive sort of. It's probably the flooring that they had down, the type of flooring that was there. Difficult to describe, but I remember it. I can still imagine it now. So we're just going to be into Fintry now anyway, turning on Fintry Drive. This is a bit nostalgic for me because I, as I say, for the first 5 years of my life I stayed at Cheviot and then moved up to Venus Hill. But we still came back here because my granddad and granny stayed at Fintry Mains, which is along a bit from Cheviot. So all this area I kind of grew up in anyway, because I grew up at both areas, Venus Hill and Fintry. You might see that house on the right, it's all done up for Halloween. They might have captured that there. But yeah, I grew up in this area area. It's a little bit of nostalgia for me, this video as well. So on my days off, you know, if I've got a few moments to myself, then I could actually go and do something, just unwind, you know, go in the car, go places that mean something to me, and I could share it with you as well. And I've done videos actually on my old Fintry nursery that I went to earlier on in my channel. It was Fintry nursery. That was shut for years, but then they opened it a few years back there. It's reopened again. But I've done a video on that anyway. If you look back on my channel, I think I called it Fintry Nursery and Teeland Earth House, because I've done two things that video. I went up to Teeland Earth House as well. That's Fintry Mains on the right. That's my granddad's old house up there. Jeez, I remember that. I know this area. But then I've been this way quite a lot on the buses anyway. I drive this bus route. But I'm going to drive up this way. In fact, no, I won't. I'm going to go straight on, because I just remember that this isn't really the best time to go up there, because when you start meeting traffic coming the other way on these narrow roads, it's just a pain in the neck. So I'm going to avoid that actually, and just stick with the bone road that I've driven so many times on the buses. But it's still nostalgic anyway, because so I'm going to turn left at the end on the Long Hill Road, and then when I do that I'm going to go up Emmett Road, then I'll stop, I'll zoom the camera into Whitfield High School, which was then later called Braveview Academy. Whitfield High School was built about the 70s, early 70s or something, and then it was renamed Braveview Academy in the late 90s, and that was shut down altogether. Summer of 2025, because of the new school on Drumheath Road. Now I did do a video, a midnight cruiser video, just not that long ago actually, and I drove up to the three of the schools in the middle of the night. I drove up to the new Drumheath Road school, I drove to the Craigie High School that shut down, and I drove up to the main entrance to the Braveview Academy. But that was in the middle of the night. It was a midnight cruiser video, and I was going to show you that. Some of the houses there are all done up with Halloween. You might see it through that window, you might get a glimpse of it. That's the thing about Halloween as well, by the way. They never used to, it was never hyped up as much as it is now lately. It was just like Halloween was just on the day. I remember back in the 80s, I used to go with my mates, and I did penny for the guy, and we got pennies, and then we shared the money out at the end. I bought sweeties off them, and that was it. It was just Halloween, you know. It was on the day, and that was it. But now it's like a month in advance. They're all just getting hyped up, and this has only been happening lately. It never used to be like that. It used to be just on the day. It was like a thing for the evening, and that was it really. But now it's like a really big hit now. You know, it's like really getting hyped up now. It's like months, weeks in advance. Like start of October, they're on about Halloween. Even late September. No, we're on Emmett Road. This is the road that's going out of the city. This is at the back of Whitfield, and I'm going to actually stop just up here a wee bit. Zoom the camera into the old high school, because you can see it. Whitfield High School stroke Braveview Academy. You'll see it boarded up, because it's due for demolition. I might do a separate video on it one day when I get a chance. I'll get right up to the building, grab some footage of it before it's totally gone altogether. And if it is getting demolished and I get a chance, I'll get some footage of it being demolished as well for you, if it can. I mean, I'd like to see it. I'm interested in all that kind of stuff. Now, because the trees are... Oh no, somebody had to be there. Why is somebody always got to be where I want to park? Sod's lawn. You know what, I'm not bargaining with you anyway. It's only going to be a couple of minutes. Right, so I'm going to show you anyway. Right. So, just on the outskirts of Dundee, you could see the Whitfield scarring blocks, the ones that have been renovated. They've got roofs and been refaced. These are the original scarring blocks the big long buildings there, they look different to what they used to look, but they are the originals. They look similar still, but they are original blocks. Now, Whitfield High School is there. I'm zooming into it now. Now this is what you could see of it from where I'm at. It's all boarded up, you can clearly see that. Unfortunately the trees are a little bit overgrown, which means it hides it a wee bit. You could usually see a little bit more in this, but the trees are obscuring the view. I'll maybe go down there a wee bit and see if we can get a little bit more for you. But when they do get round to demolishing it with the bulldozer, and if I do get a chance to see it, I will try and get some footage for you, if I could, because I'm quite interested to see that myself. So I think this is called Emick Road. I know the road well, I think it's called Emick Road. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you much more of the school, but I'm showing you as much as I can. And that's what it currently looks like. That's the chimney, and because I think there's a swimming block there. So yeah, I've done a video in this area. That's Tarzan Island, known to the locals. Tarzan Island, with that piling on it. Because my dad used to stay in Whitfield as well, not long after it was opened in 1971, and he remembers going up Tarzan Island with his mates on a motorbike as well, I think. I do remember seeing bikes going around. I think that was before he got the car, or maybe he had the car at the same time, I can't remember. But I remember him mentioning he had a motorbike and he went up that way with his mates in the 1970 or 71 or something. But it's well known to the locals as Tarzan Island, and I've always known it as that as well. So, and you could see Dundee Law. Earlier on you saw it from the other side. This is looking at it from the east side of it. So I'm going to make my way over towards where the field was, where the banger racing allegedly took place. I don't remember it, but this is from what I could gather from the research I've done. That's the golf course that was built there, Blumby Golf Course. And it was just around about that kind of area where the banger racing was taking place. So that's a little bit of... I mean, this area, when we stayed at Cheviot Crest in Finchley, which was right on the edge of the city, right at the edge of Finchley, next door to Whitfield, I remember this area from as far back as 1978, 1979. And then when my young brother got born, we moved to Venus Hill, where we are currently living. But, you know, the roads are the same, but the Whitfield itself's changed considerably. The scan blocks have all been refaced and redone up. But it's a pity I didn't know about the stock car banger racing at that time, because I would have been very much interested to see it even back then. I only started taking an interest in banger racing since 2003. Not an interest, sorry. I only started going in 2003. I was always interested in it, but I only started going in 2003 because I was able to manage to go. So, but if I'd known about that anyway, I would have been sure I'd have been very much wanting to go. So I think that's lined up properly. Right, let's make our way to the field where the banger racing took place in the back of Whitfield during the 80s, or 70s and 80s. And we're just coming into Burnside of Dundee. That's the village at the end of this bit of the road here. Burnside of Dundee. You'll see that. We're in it now, basically. It's a very, very small village, just a handful of houses, basically. And there's a lovely bridge as well that goes over the burn. But we're not going over that bridge. I used to walk this road in the 90s. I used to come back to Whitfield on a Sunday afternoon because I was at school in the late 80s and early 90s. I left school in 1992, but I remember specifically particularly 1991. I used to walk along here in 1992 on this. Oh, there's a squirrel. But yeah, I used to walk along this road in 1992. here, for time's sake, and I took pictures as well. I was only 17 and I was very much interested in the architecture of the Whitfield scarring blocks, and it was even nostalgic, even back then, to this area. I was very much interested, and the old buses as well. I'm going to let this car past. Oh, yeah, bus past. So we'll get past. Now I'm going to kind of like slowly, I'm going to park down there a bit because it was a bit here. I think I could get just probably in that wee bit on the left there. Yeah, there's a wee bit on the left. I'm going to pull in there because the field was on the... Now this is, I think it's, from what I could figure out, it was on the right. It was about there. But some say it was a wee bit further down, some say it was across there. From the footage, from the comments and that I got. Now I'm just going to, I'm fine here. I'm fine parked here. I'm going to get out and show you where I think it was took place at. So the golf course, actually you have to cross over the road to get to the golf course. It's in two parts. There's a main golf course over there and there's a bit of the golf course on this side of the road, and you have to cross over. Now I actually spoke to people, some people as well lately about it in person. Somebody that remembers where it was but doesn't remember the event, but remembers where it was and remembers seeing the tyres. Now I think it was over there. I think that field is where it took part in. That's where I think. Now on this side, you see there's a crossover bit, and this is where the cars I think would go in. But it's really confusing because some people say it's further down with the old Millow, the Ballini, what was it called? Blumby rather. The Blumby Hotel was, which was just down a bit. But this is actually a continuation of the golf course. And there's a lot of new houses built just down there as well. And then you've got the golf course bit up there. And in that field there is where I suspect it was. I suspect it was in there. I think the cars would have went in that way, or that way. It's in this general area anyway. Now if anybody's watching this that knows Dundee and remembers it, maybe they could put in the comments to clarify where it was. Now that dike looks as though it's been there a long time, so that would suggest to me that the cars wouldn't come in that way. This is the other bit of the golf course. This is where the golf course starts off at. As you could probably see them at the... Now all that has been built fairly recently, within the last 20 years or so. 25 years, I think. But the millennium they started building the golf course, I think. But the Blumby Hotel, or Blumby House Hotel, was kind of like up there, because I remember it when it was in a ruin. It was in that general area. It was in that kind of area there, from where I'm standing in it. Now, I don't want to be getting in the way here, but we've got to listen out for them shouting for. But yeah, the hotel was about where that house is, round about there. It's all demolished now, as you could, they built new houses on it, but that's where it was approximately. It wasn't far from there. Now all this area is all the fields area, what would have been fields. Now, I could only assume then that the entrance to the track, it was just a field with a rope round it, from what I gather, and the crowd sat on a kind of embankment or something, or there wasn't really any barriers as such. They just stood back. There wasn't any snap bars or grandstands or anything like that you see at an organised event, but it was more a kind of like an unofficial word of mouth kind of thing. And it was, I could only assume that we're coming. I'm going to be forced to stand here now because of that. Great. See, I don't have my hiking boots on. We get filthy. Typical. So that's an entrance to a field there. It looks like it's an old gate. So cars may have got in there. But remember, if they're on trailers, which means it'd be a 4x4 or a lorry, so it'll have to be pretty big. So yeah, this is where it's really difficult to say, because all this is overgrown. It may have even been slightly landscaped since then as well. That dike looks original, looks like it's been there for a long time. This is sort of like bit here goes down. It doesn't really look like it'd be an entrance to the field. I don't think it would be, unless they went up that way and came in by the right. Some say it might have been that entrance, it could have been this field on the looking at now, and the car's gotten through that gate. So it's really, really difficult to pinpoint exactly where it was, because I'm getting different takes on it. Some people say it's further down where the hotel was. Some people put on a Google map and the ring on the map saying it's in this area, which suggests it's there. And I thought it was over there because somebody who was speaking to said it was on that side. That looks like an actual entrance, you know, that's been there a while. The wall looks old. If anything, it's going to be maybe perhaps up there. So you can see the actual entrance to that looks like a, you know, it's been a proper while, an official entrance to the fields. Now, these fields would have been converted into a golf course. As you can see, it is nil. So the banger racing could have took part here, on this side. But it was definitely at the crossover bit. I remember the guy I was speaking to, and all the research points to here, in this general area, where the golf course crosses over. Because I knew this bit right away. That gate certainly looks like it's been there a long time. Which would suggest that it could be on this side as well. So it could either be on there, or even here. This could have been where the stock cars bangers took place on. So there's really like in the general area, at least. Anyway, then the Whitfield High School is just up there. You won't see it because of the trees, and the hill is slightly on a hill, but it's only just about the same distance away as the golf course entrance is from where I'm at, but just up to the right a bit instead. But they're roughly about the same distance apart from where I'm at. So that's really all I could do just now. I think I'm going to round off the video. I've covered the areas I want to do on this video. It's over an hour long now. I don't want to make the video any longer. But like I say, I do remember walking this road in the summer of 1992, and I don't remember seeing any evidence of any banger racing or anything like that back then. I remember that was the route I came up, walked up Emmett Road all the way down along this road right back down to Inverlumby. In fact, I'll maybe round the video off at the back of Whitfield, just so that you can see the length of this road anyway. But yeah, I walked that road in 1992. I don't remember seeing it, which would suggest that it was well gone by then. But some of the comments say early 90-ish, 1990s, which would, you know, 1992 is early in the 90s. And I mean, I came up to Whitfield in 1991. In fact, I came up to Whitfield in 1990 on my own to have a look around. In fact, even 1989. I remember walking from my aunt's house in Strathmartin Road to Whitfield in summer 1989. I was only just over 14. I mean, I was quite big for my age, which had that advantage, right enough. But yeah, I walked all that to Whitfield on my own. I was only 14, just over 14. I mean, I had difficulty getting on the buses. I didn't think I was a kid, they thought I was an adult. So as I say, I had that advantage. My dad let us wander all that distance on my own. You had to be careful, obviously, for obvious reasons. But yeah, I remember doing all that, exploring Whitfield, because as I say, I was quite interested in the buildings, the scarring blocks. I remember remember all that, but I don't remember the bangers. But this is where it was roughly anyway, where the banger racing took place, in this general vicinity. So if anybody's from Dundee is watching this and remembers it, stick in the comments what you remember, and I'd be very much interested to hear, because I'm trying to research as much into it as I can. I'll turn the camera on and you can see a scarring block from here actually. So you can see the scarring block just in the distance there. That's the original Whitfield scarring block, but it's refaced. They started the refacing programme in the mid-80s, but there's no more original unfaced scarring blocks left. The last one of those was late 90s. I've got loads of pictures of Whitfield. As I say, I had an interest in Whitfield for a very long time. You might even just see the edge of Bravey Academy from here. See, that's the old derelict school. You might just see the corner of it, but you can see where it is in relation to everything else. The golf course is up there, Whitfield High School's there. There's the fields that are surrounding this general area where the banger racing took place. So as I say, I'll get back in, I'll drive down the bottom of that road. I'll show you the length of this road, Blumby Road, where it meets the Berwick Drive, and I'll round the video off probably somewhere at the back of Whitfield. Oh, I've pressed the record. Oh well, doesn't matter, I wasn't worried, but that's on anyway. Right, I'm going to continue on down this road, and I'll record that for you. I'll point out where the old Blumby Hotel was. Now, I don't remember it as a hotel, I remember it as a ruin. Like I say, I used to walk this in the 90s and I remember seeing it. In fact, I remember going to it, close to it, and having a look at it. I was curious. I might have some pictures, I might have to look back on that back then. If I do have some photos, I might share them one day in a video, if I can find them and get around to it. But I remember going in, it was just a ruin. There was like a water wheel. I'm sure there was a water wheel. That rang a bell. There was a wheel, a water wheel inside it, a mill or something. I assume that's the Blumby, part of the Blumby hotel. So yeah, that just about, well, just up a wee bit. That signage with the golf course, that's the entrance to the golf course. Well, just ahead of it, about now on the right is where the hotel was, Blumby House Hotel or whatever it was called, just on the right now. That stone wall was there. You might hopefully see that. You'll maybe see it at this window if you didn't see it on the caption at the moment. It's all demolished now, it's just houses, all new houses built on it, it's just all gone now. Now, hang on just a second. That stone building on the right there is an old building that's been done up. That's part of it as well, I think. No, that's been renovated up. But the actual mill bit is gone. Blumby Court. Yeah, this is where because I remember walking all the way down here and I met the road. This is the bottom of Berwick Drive now, on the right hand side. If I turn right here at the end, that's going on to Berwick Drive. So Blumby Road just continues on to Drumgeeth Road down that way. The 17 bus route covers this whole area. It goes all the way down Berwick Drive on the Blumby Road on Drumgeeth. It doesn't go in that back bit that I just came down. That I did no buses go down there, but the bus route does this bit. This is the main roads. It's served by the Explore Dundee 17 bus route. So I'm going up Berwick Drive, heading in the west direction. Lady Crescent just past there. In fact, you'll see the bus now. That's the 17 going to Whitfield. So it goes to the terminus at the Crescent there, it comes back this way towards 9 Wells, which is the other terminus. And I'll probably be driving that route on Thursday. I've got 8 days in a row to work. So that's why I'm doing the video now for the Halloweenish October kind of Halloween October type video. So I've given you some of that, and that's the old Whitfield high school entrance to the right. I'm going to go around the back of it. I'm going to go into an old crescent, an old Dunbar crescent or Hampton crescent. I'm going to show you. This is the old original blocks here that have all been refaced on the left there. I've done quite a few videos on my channel regarding Whitfield, and I've got footage inside the corridors and the buildings as well. But this is just showing you a wee bit again on this video. All these buildings there have been refaced and they've got roofs. They blocks used to be flat roofed. They were just blocks, rectangle blocks, and they were flat roofed. They were nicknamed the barracks. They were quite a unique design, really. But the rectangles for the corridors you can see on the building, they were doubled up. They were doubled. You had the ones at the bottom identical, but they took the bottom ones away and just left the top ones. The bottom ones had different acrylic colours for each block. Some of them had the same, some were different. So he's coming this way. It's a little bit tight left through, but he's just parking, I think. Actually, yes, yeah. So I'm going to go right around here. I'll continue on round, and then now I've showed you what the scarring blocks look like. These are refaced. They were all different colours, like they were black, they were brick colour, they were white. That was mainly it. But now that they've given them a bit more of a colourful look about them, look about it. The window layout's all the same windows because it's the same apertures, but they just refaced the block. But the character of it as a scan block is still recognisable as a scan block. I'm going to pull it over there, round the video off. I'm going to maybe nip into the crescent for the toilet. Great, I'll get down there because I'm needing the bog. So I'm going to need to go. This is just ideal place to round the video off. I'll just nip down that pathway, nip into the toilet. Perfect. So I think that's quite good. Just round it off now. So before I round it off, I'll just have another very brief look around the comments for the research that I've done regarding the banger racing at the back of Whitfield. I'm not going to show them one here because I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read through some of the things, the points that have been made, and just relay that over to you. I don't know if but it's public, but I'm just going to look through them anyway. Yeah, there was like one of the commenters was saying there was like a collection bucket that went round for spectators just to put some money in, probably just to sponsor the event. And the council came in, they sort of put pressure on the farmer to shut it all down. But then they were earmarking it for development. But it ended up being the golf course many years later. The cars came on trailers that were not MOT'd. Meetings they lasted most of the afternoon. It was all volunteers that set them up, and they tidied up after the meeting. Sunday. It was on a Sunday most of the time, and it went on for a few years. Now I asked on a question, did anybody get hurt? It's not even loading up. No, he didn't hear anybody getting hurt. So just north of the Blumby golf course, that's where I was at earlier. Some of the cars were loaded with concrete on one side. This was to stabilise it on the bench, and he wasn't aware of any injuries that took place. There was a Mark V Catena, Mark Cavalier that this guy remembers, and it was possibly on the first Sunday of each month as well. So there wasn't any grandstands or anything like that. just a load of guys that they used to race around a scrapyard outside Barry, some of them. Spectators, there wasn't a race commentator or anything like that. There is someone that's got some photos, but he hasn't got them available at the moment. But I would need his permission. If he ever did send me them, I'd need his permission to share them. But I'd like to see them myself, out of interest, you know. Yeah, it was grassroots motorsport. So what else? Yeah, he's mentioned the names of some of the guys, but I'm not going to do any of that on this video. I'm just keeping that kind of off at the moment, just the points that are made and relaying over. I don't know these people. I'm not going to just put everybody's name up on here. I'm not doing that, but there's a guy, he remembers this other guy with his old Volvo 240. It didn't have a clutch release, so it was started off the starter motor to get the thing to go. So there was a slight bray. So that would suggest to me, if there was a slight bray, it would have been that brown fuel, because there was a bit of a bray there. So some of the comments, there's people remembering slightly different things here. So this one here's got, it was at Ballumby Castle before the houses were built, and it was a motocross track. Development. Yeah, it was moved to Forfar because that ground was earmarked for development, which it is. And there's a sketch here on the map as to where it was roughly. Just kind of like where I was. Yeah, so he remembers his uncle racing around. So there are people that remember it. So that this is something that people remember. I don't remember it, but I'm getting from the research I've done so far, that's what I've come up with. And still wanting to learn more about it. I'd love to see some photographs of the bangers in the field and that, the unofficial banger race track. I'd like to see that. I think there was more of that sort of thing going on generally anyway, up and around the country, because there was less health and safety back then compared to what there is today. But most of these banger race events now are all done through the organisations, like Cildonbeath Racewell and Lochgelly, Crimmins Raceway as well. There's three main stock car race circuits, official ones in Scotland. There's a Crimmins Raceway, which is nicknamed the North Pole. That's up between Peterhead and Fraserburgh on the A19. Then you've got the Lochgelly Raceway and the Racewell at Cildonbeath, and they're only like a couple of miles apart. They're just off at A92 in Fife, so if you're heading down south. Not overly far from Dunfermline. And they're only a couple of miles apart, and they both run simultaneously on a Saturday. The Lochgelly one was opened on April 20, 2010, because I was there on its first day of opening. The Cildonbeath Racewell was opened 50s or 60s or something, and then it closed down for a while. 1986, I think it closed down for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and then it reopened again. The Gordon McDougall Promotions, I think it was. But then it had a fire, I think, in 1992, and it remained shut for a few years again until they repaired it all up, and it was reopened again. I think, was it maybe 1998 or something, or 1995, I'm not sure. But it's remained open ever since, and I think it's still Gordon McDougall that does the race promoter for the Cildonbeath Racewell Raceway, whereas Lochgelly is the Sperryworth Hardy Racing or something, Sperryworth or something like that. Crimmins, I think they organise it themselves, but part of the Oval Race Circuit International or something. But they're so far north, you know, they're nicknamed the North Pole. That's more like a local kind of thing, but a lot of them do travel the distance. The racers from Crimmins travel right down into the south of England for the big events down there as well. So it is a recognised raceway, Crimmins. But that's the three major ones in Scotland. I think, if anything, Crimmins would be more, if it would be more of a local, because it's so far away from everything else, it's so far north, It'd be like what the local ones were like, you know, like this one at the back of Whitfield is sort of small of a local area. There's not as much population up that far up north of Scotland compared to the southern part of Scotland. So it's way remote. Yeah, it's 100 miles from Dundee, north, you know. North Pole, its nickname. I've been to that loads of times, like. But anyway, I'm going to round the video off, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the out in the car and seeing some of the autumn colours. I'll just dub this autumn Halloween as well for this in-car series, and I think it's 19, episode 19, season 3. I'll be correcting the titles anyway if I've said it wrong, but I'm quite sure it's episode 19, because I've literally lost count. I've done that many. Okay, right, I'll catch you later. See you all on my channel, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.